What if I told you that there's a technique so powerful it could completely transform your relationship with money while you sleep, without you having to lift a single finger during your hours of rest? I'm not talking about some fantasy or empty promises that flood the internet. I'm referring to ancestral knowledge, a mental technology that has been deliberately hidden because its effectiveness is so devastating that if everyone knew and applied it, it could completely revolutionize the way our economic system functions. But before we begin, please hit the like button and let me know where in the world you're watching from today. It's always fascinating seeing who's joining us from around the world. Picture this for a moment. Every night, while your body rests in the comfort of your bed, your subconscious mind is working tirelessly to attract opportunities, brilliant ideas, and financial resources into your life. Has this ever happened to you? You wake up with a strange feeling that something important is about to happen, or with an idea that seems to have come from nowhere. That's not coincidence, and what you're about to discover might surprise you completely. For centuries, this knowledge has been jealously guarded by those who understood its true power. We're talking about a technique based on deep autosuggestion that penetrates directly into your subconscious during sleep hours. When your conscious mind lowers its guard and allows genuine reprogramming to occur without resistance. It's in that vulnerable and receptive state where the true magic of financial transformation happens. Have you ever wondered why some people seem to attract success and abundance effortlessly, while others constantly struggle without achieving the results they desire? The answer isn't in working more hours or applying more complicated strategies. It lies in understanding how your mind actually works during nighttime hours and how you can leverage that time to plant the seeds of prosperity in the most fertile ground you possess, your subconscious. Stay with me until the end, because what you're about to learn isn't information you'll easily find in conventional books or traditional courses. We're talking about a forbidden manuscript, techniques that were silenced precisely because they demonstrate that the true power of wealth creation resides within you, not in external factors beyond your control. Modern science has begun to validate what ancient sages already knew. There exists a specific state of consciousness right at the border between wakefulness and deep sleep, where your mind becomes extraordinarily receptive to new programming. It's at that precise moment when you can install new beliefs about money, abundance, and your capacity to create wealth. But this is just the beginning of a journey that will forever transform how you perceive the possibilities of your own mind. And it's precisely in that magical moment when something extraordinary happens in your brain. While your body surrenders to rest and your conscious mind finally stops controlling every thought, your subconscious emerges as the true protagonist of the night. It's like during the day you're the driver of a vehicle, constantly making decisions, dodging obstacles, choosing directions. But when night arrives, you hand over the wheel to an autopilot that's infinitely wiser and more powerful. Your subconscious never sleeps. While you rest, it's there, working silently, processing all the information you received during the day, connecting ideas that seemed unrelated, and most importantly, molding your future reality based on the last instructions it received before you fell asleep. It's like having an invisible architect of your financial destiny, building the foundations of your next business opportunity, designing those casual encounters that will change your life, or preparing the mental ground for you to recognize that brilliant idea that will take your economy to the next level. But here comes the most shocking revelation of all. During those nighttime hours, your subconscious mind becomes completely exposed without the protective barriers that your conscious mind normally raises. There are no filters, no little internal voice saying, "That's impossible," or "I'm not good enough for that." There's no destructive criticism that sabotages your best intentions during the day. It's as if all defenses drop and your mind becomes absolutely fertile ground, ready to receive any seed you decide to plant. If this resonates with you, if you feel something shifting in your understanding of wealth creation, hit that like button to let me know this connection is real. This nocturnal transformation is so profound that the ancients considered it sacred. They knew there was a direct connection between the thoughts you allowed just before sleep and the reality you would experience the next day. It's no coincidence that many cultures developed specific rituals for bedtime because they intuitively understood they were accessing a portal of pure creation. Modern science has shown us that during certain phases of sleep, especially in those moments of transition, our brain waves enter specific frequencies that favor the absorption of new programming. It's like your brain becomes a giant sponge, willing to absorb any information you present with sufficient clarity and emotion. And here's the crucial detail that changes absolutely everything. The quality of your financial life is directly related to the quality of thoughts you feed your subconscious during those golden hours. Think about it for a moment. If every night, just before closing your eyes, your mind fills with worries about debt, fear of the future, frustration about not having enough money, or resentment toward those who have achieved abundance, you're literally programming your subconscious to create more of those same experiences. It's like giving the wrong instructions to the most powerful architect of your reality. But when you understand this hidden truth and decide to take conscious control of that process, when you deliberately choose what information your subconscious will receive during those hours of maximum receptivity, then you begin experiencing coincidences that seem miraculous, opportunities that arrive at just the perfect moment, people who appear with exactly what you need, ideas that emerge from nowhere and turn out to be extraordinarily profitable. This revelation about the vulnerable state of your mind during sleep represents one of the most powerful transformations you can experience in your journey toward financial freedom. Behind the scenes of your consciousness, there's an entire universe of possibilities waiting to be activated through the right programming. The impact of understanding this hidden mechanism goes far beyond what most people imagine, because you're not just changing thoughts, you're literally rewiring the neural pathways that determine your relationship with money and abundance. The mindset shift that occurs when you truly grasp this concept is profound. Your decisions during the day begin to flow from a different place, influenced by the nocturnal programming you've been installing night after night. It's a transformation that happens gradually but consistently, like water slowly carving through rock. Now I want to go even deeper into this topic and reveal to you exactly how you can leverage this window of opportunity that opens every night in your mind. Because one thing is understanding the concept theoretically, and quite another is knowing the specific techniques that will allow you to plant abundance in that fertile ground of your nocturnal subconscious. Write in the comments, "My mind is ready for transformation." There exists an ancient metaphor that perfectly captures the essence of what happens every night in your mind. And when you understand it completely, you'll never go to bed the same way again. Imagine that your subconscious mind is like an infinitely fertile garden, a space where anything you plant has the potential to flourish and manifest in your physical reality. Every thought you allow in your mind just before closing your eyes becomes a seed you deposit in that sacred ground, and sleep acts as the pure water that nourishes and makes everything you've sown grow. If you want to dive deeper into these ancient wealth secrets that most people will never discover, subscribe to the channel. There's so much more we're going to explore together. This revelation changes absolutely everything because you realize you've been gardening your financial destiny every night without even knowing it. If every night you plant seeds of worry, scarcity, or frustration, your mental garden will grow full of weeds that manifest as more economic problems, lost opportunities, and that constant feeling that money always slips through your fingers. But when you become aware of this process and decide to deliberately plant seeds of abundance, prosperity, and certainty, then your internal garden begins to flourish with real opportunities, brilliant ideas, and synchronicities that inevitably bring you closer to financial freedom. The forbidden manuscript reveals that this nocturnal sowing process must follow certain principles to be truly effective. The first of these principles is what's known as clear instruction. It's not enough to have vague thoughts of abundance or diffuse desires to be rich. Your subconscious needs specific, direct, and powerful instructions to work efficiently during sleep hours. It's like being the conductor of an invisible orchestra that can only hear you in those moments of transition toward rest. If you give confusing or contradictory instructions, the symphony they create will be chaotic. But if you pronounce clear, specific affirmations charged with genuine emotion, then that subconscious orchestra begins to play the exact melody of abundance you desire to experience. The difference between a powerful affirmation and simple mechanical repetition lies in the intention and emotion you put behind each word. When you say internally something like, "My mind is creating wealth while I sleep," you're not saying it as a hopeful wish, but as a direct order to the deepest part of your being. You're establishing a command that your subconscious will faithfully follow throughout the night, working tirelessly to attract the circumstances, people, and ideas that will make that declaration reality. The transformational power of these nocturnal instructions goes far beyond what most people imagine. You're not simply thinking positive thoughts before sleep. You're activating an ancestral creation mechanism that operates on levels your conscious mind can't even perceive. You're establishing a vibrational frequency that will remain active during all sleep hours, attracting toward you experiences that are aligned with that specific frequency. Give this video a like if you're ready to start seeing your sleep time as the most powerful wealth-building hours of your day. What's fascinating about this process is that it doesn't require physical effort or complicated strategies. You simply need to understand that every night you have access to the most powerful manifestation tool that exists, your own mind in a state of maximum receptivity. It's in those moments when you can literally reprogram years of limiting beliefs about money and replace them with new programming designed for success and abundance. Behind the scenes of this transformation, there's a profound shift in your neural architecture happening. The impact of understanding this hidden mechanism extends beyond your sleeping hours and begins influencing your waking decisions, your perception of opportunities, and your overall relationship with prosperity. Your mindset undergoes a fundamental change that ripples through every aspect of your financial life. The journey toward financial transformation through nocturnal programming represents a complete paradigm shift from traditional approaches to wealth building. Instead of focusing solely on external strategies and actions, you're learning to harness the internal power that operates continuously, even when you're not consciously aware of it. This revelation about the internal source of wealth creation challenges everything we've been taught about financial success. The truth is, your external circumstances are merely a reflection of your internal programming. And when you change the core programming, the external reality has no choice but to follow suit. Now I want to reveal to you the specific element that determines whether these instructions will truly penetrate your subconscious or simply remain on the surface of your conscious mind. And that secret element has to do with the precise way you formulate and deliver these instructions to your deep mind. Write in the comments, "I'm programming my financial destiny." That secret element I mentioned has a specific name and represents the second fundamental pillar of this ancestral technique, emotional visualization. This is where most people make a crucial mistake that completely sabotages their results. They think it's enough to repeat beautiful words before sleep, but the truth is that your subconscious doesn't function primarily with words, but with images charged with authentic emotion. When you close your eyes and visualize your abundant life. You can't do it like someone watching a movie in third person. You have to completely immerse yourself in that reality, as if you were the protagonist of your own success story. It's not about imagining that you have money in the bank, but about physically feeling the tranquility you would experience when reviewing your account statement and seeing those figures you so desire. It's not enough to think about your prosperous business. You need to feel the pride that will fill your chest when you see the results of your effort materializing. Your subconscious mind speaks the language of emotions, not logic. Every time you generate intense emotion while visualizing your abundance, you're creating what neuroscientists call a deep neural imprint. It's like you're recording a disc in your brain, and that recording will automatically play during sleep hours, molding your deepest beliefs about what's possible for you. The most impactful revelation of this process is that your mind cannot distinguish between an experience lived intensely in your imagination and a real experience. For your subconscious, if you can feel it with sufficient clarity and emotion, then it already exists. It's like you're sending a direct message to the most powerful part of your being, telling it, "This is my reality, this is my truth. Work to manifest more experiences like this." Subscribe if you're ready to completely rewire your relationship with abundance. Because what we've covered today is just scratching the surface of what's possible. But even the most powerful visualization can be lost if you don't respect the third fundamental principle of this ancient wisdom, programmed silence. This aspect is so crucial that it can make the difference between extraordinary results and total frustration. After having carefully planted your seeds of abundance through clear instructions and emotional visualizations, you need to create the perfect environment for those seeds to germinate. Programmed silence means that the last minutes before falling completely asleep must be completely free of any distraction that could contaminate or dilute the instructions you just delivered to your subconscious. You can't be checking social media that fills your mind with other people's problems. You can't be listening to news that generates anxiety. And you definitely can't be allowing thoughts of worry or doubt to sneak into your mind just when your subconscious is most receptive. It's like being a scientist who has just placed a perfect formula in a laboratory. If you immediately introduce contaminating elements afterwards, the formula will be ruined. Your mind works exactly the same way. The last thought, the last emotion, the last image you allow before sleep will act as the dominant programming that executes throughout the entire night. This understanding completely transforms your nighttime routine. You no longer see bedtime as simply the end of the day, but as a sacred opportunity to program your financial destiny. Every night becomes an invisible investment in your prosperous future, a mental training session where you strengthen your capacity to attract abundance without physical effort. What's extraordinary about this process is that it works even if you initially have doubts about its effectiveness. Your subconscious doesn't need your conscious mind to be completely convinced to begin working. It only needs clear instructions, emotional images, and the necessary silence to process all that information without interference. It's like planting seeds in a fertile garden. You don't need to believe in each seed individually for the entire garden to flourish. The transformation that occurs behind the scenes of your consciousness during these moments of programmed silence is profound. Your mind enters a state where the boundaries between possibility and reality become fluid, where the limiting beliefs that normally govern your financial decisions begin to dissolve, and where new neural pathways start forming that will automatically guide you toward opportunities and decisions aligned with abundance. If you can already feel your relationship with money beginning to transform, show me by hitting the like button. It tells me you're serious about this journey. This journey into the depths of your subconscious programming reveals layers of potential that most people never access because they're unaware of the precise Mechanisms that govern manifestation. The impact of mastering this technique extends far beyond your financial situation and begins influencing every aspect of how you perceive and interact with the world around you. Now, I want to take you even deeper into this revelation and show you how there's an additional element that exponentially amplifies this entire process. Something the ancients knew, but modern science is just beginning to validate. Write in the comments, "I'm creating my nocturnal abundance routine." That additional element I mentioned represents a fundamental shift in how we understand success and wealth creation. For decades, we've been taught that prosperity is the direct result of physical effort, of hours worked, of complicated strategies we implement while awake. But the forbidden manuscript reveals a truth that completely inverts this belief. The real secret of abundance doesn't lie in how much you do during waking hours, but in the quality of what you sow in your mind during those sacred moments before sleep. This revelation frees thousands of people from the trap of excessive effort and allows them to access a level of creation that works 24 hours a day, even when their body is completely at rest. It's like discovering you have an invisible partner working for you while you sleep, a partner who never gets tired, never doubts, and has access to resources and connections that your conscious mind can't even imagine. Modern science has begun to validate this ancestral wisdom through the study of consciousness states. Neuroscientists have identified a specific moment in the transition to sleep that they consider extraordinarily special, the hypnagogic state. This magical space you experience just when you're about to fall asleep, when you're no longer completely awake but haven't yet entered deep sleep either. During this hypnagogic state, something fascinating happens in your brain. The brain waves that normally vibrate at high and chaotic frequencies during wakefulness begin to gradually descend toward alpha and theta frequencies. It's like your mind is a radio that's tuning to a completely different station, a station where interference disappears and reception becomes crystal clear. Hit that subscribe button if you want access to the advanced techniques that can accelerate this transformation. This is just the beginning of your financial awakening. At this precise moment, the door between your conscious and subconscious mind opens wide. The barriers that normally filter, question, and resist new information simply dissolve. Your critical mind, that internal voice that always finds reasons to doubt, temporarily shuts off, leaving your subconscious completely exposed and receptive to any programming you decide to install. It's like having direct access to your mind's hard drive, where all your beliefs about money, success, and what's possible for you are stored. During the hypnagogic state, you can literally rewrite those files, delete limiting programs that have been sabotaging your prosperity for years, and install new programs designed specifically to attract unlimited abundance. What's extraordinary about this window of opportunity is that it doesn't require years of therapy or complicated personal development techniques. You simply need to understand that every night for approximately 10 to 15 minutes, you have free access to the most powerful mental reprogramming laboratory that exists. It's during these moments when the affirmations you pronounce, the images you visualize, and the emotions you generate have a multiplied impact that can permanently transform your financial reality. But here's where most people lose this golden opportunity without even realizing it. Instead of consciously leveraging this state of maximum receptivity, they allow random thoughts, daily worries, or technological distractions to contaminate this sacred space. It's like having the key to the world's most valuable treasure and using it to open the door to a basement full of old junk. When you truly understand the transformative power of these hypnagogic moments and decide to take them seriously, you'll begin experiencing changes that go far beyond what you believed possible. The journey into understanding these states of consciousness reveals hidden truths about human potential that have been overlooked by mainstream approaches to personal development. Behind the scenes of your awareness, there's an entire universe of untapped possibilities waiting to be activated through the right kind of nocturnal programming. The impact of mastering this technique creates a ripple effect that transforms not just your financial situation, but your entire relationship with possibility itself. Your mindset undergoes a fundamental shift that influences every decision you make, every opportunity you recognize, and every action you take toward creating the life you truly desire. The transformation that occurs when you learn to work consciously with these states goes beyond simple visualization or positive thinking. You're literally accessing the control room of your reality creation mechanism, the place where your deepest beliefs about what's possible for you are formed and reformed. Now, I want to reveal to you exactly how these last 5 minutes before you fall completely asleep have a multiplication power that defies all conventional logic, because understanding this mechanism will change forever how you approach your nighttime routine. Write in the comments, "I'm accessing my control room." Those changes I mentioned begin with an understanding that may sound simple but is absolutely revolutionary. The last 5 minutes before you fall completely asleep have a multiplication power that defies all conventional logic. I'm not talking about poetic exaggeration, but about a real phenomenon you can verify in your own experience. Every thought, every image, every emotion you allow during those 5 crucial minutes gets amplified approximately 100 times during sleep hours. Imagine you have a mental amplifier that works exclusively during the night, taking any signal it receives in those final moments of consciousness and reproducing it over and over again at such a high volume that it penetrates to the deepest layers of your being. If you feed that amplifier with financial worries, fears about the future, or frustration about your current situation, then throughout the entire night, your subconscious will be receiving a symphony of scarcity that will reinforce exactly those circumstances in your real life. But when you understand this mechanism and consciously decide to feed those last 5 minutes with images of abundance, sensations of financial security, and emotions of gratitude for the prosperity that's coming, then that same amplifier becomes your most powerful ally, working tirelessly to attract toward you experiences that match that new programming. This revelation explains a mystery that has intrigued success researchers for decades. Why do some people seem to have a natural ability to attract opportunities and abundance without apparent effort? The answer isn't in their education, their connections, or their superior intelligence. It's in something much more subtle but infinitely more powerful: their nighttime habits. When you study the lives of truly prosperous people, not just those who have accumulated money, but those who have created sustainable and meaningful wealth, you discover a fascinating pattern. All of them, absolutely all, have developed specific nighttime routines that distinguish them from the rest of the population. They may not have called these routines subconscious programming or sleep manifestation, but they intuitively discovered that there was a direct connection between the quality of their nighttime thoughts and the quality of their daytime results. Some developed the habit of mentally reviewing their goals before sleep. Others became accustomed to visualizing the perfect day before closing their eyes, and many simply cultivated the discipline of not allowing negative thoughts to be the last thing their mind processed each night. No matter what their specific method was, they all understood at an intuitive level that the night wasn't simply a pause between 2 productive days, but the most crucial moment for sowing the seeds of their future success. What's most fascinating about this discovery is that most of these powerful people weren't conscious of the true scope of what they were doing. They thought they had simply developed a relaxing routine to sleep better, without realizing they had actually activated the most powerful wealth creation mechanism that exists. It was as if they had accidentally discovered a secret formula and were applying it every night without fully understanding its transformative potential. This understanding places you in a position of extraordinary advantage, because now you can apply these principles consciously and intentionally. You don't have to wait years to accidentally discover these habits. You can begin this very night, implementing specific routines designed to maximize the creative power of your subconscious mind during sleep hours. The journey into mastering these nocturnal practices represents a complete paradigm shift from traditional approaches to financial success. Instead of relying solely on external strategies and daytime efforts, you're learning to harness the internal mechanisms that operate continuously, shaping your reality from the inside out. Behind the scenes of this transformation, there's a profound rewiring happening in your neural architecture. The impact of understanding and applying these principles creates lasting changes in how your brain processes information about money, opportunity, and your own capabilities. Your mindset undergoes a fundamental evolution that influences every aspect of your financial life. The revelation about the multiplication effect of those final moments before sleep opens up possibilities that most people never consider. You're not just improving your sleep quality or practicing relaxation techniques. You're accessing a level of reality creation that operates beyond the limitations of ordinary consciousness. Now, I want to share with you the specific protocol that can systematize this entire process and ensure that every single night becomes a powerful investment in your financial future, because understanding the theory is just the beginning. Write in the comments, "I'm multiplying my abundance nightly." That specific protocol I mentioned has to do with precision and systematization of your approach. Many people try to apply these principles casually or sporadically, expecting miraculous results without understanding that we're talking about an exact science that requires a specific protocol. It's like trying to tune a radio station by randomly moving the dial instead of searching for the exact frequency you need to receive the signal with crystal clarity. The forbidden manuscript reveals what's known as the Nocturnal Code, a specific sequence of actions that maximizes your capacity to program abundance during sleep hours. This code begins with something that may seem obvious, but that most people completely ignore: the conscious elimination of mental and physical noise that contaminates your reprogramming space. It's not simply about turning off the television or leaving your phone in another room, although that's also important. It's about creating an internal and external environment that's completely conducive to receiving new programming. 1 hour before going to bed, you need to begin gradually disconnecting from the chaos of the day. This means reducing exposure to news, discussions, other people's problems, and any type of information that generates stress or anxiety in your nervous system. Your mind needs to enter a state of receptive calm, like a lake that becomes completely tranquil to perfectly reflect the full moon. But here comes the really powerful part of the code: creating a personalized affirmation that's specifically yours. Not a generic phrase copied from some book or video. Your subconscious responds much better to declarations that come from your own internal voice, formulated in your own language, directed toward your specific circumstances. It's like having an intimate conversation with yourself, where you explain to the most powerful part of your being exactly what kind of life you want to create. This personalized affirmation must be accompanied by what the manuscript calls physical emotion, because your body is the vehicle through which your subconscious mind experiences reality. When you place your hand over your heart while pronouncing your affirmation, when you breathe deeply, feeling each word vibrate in your chest, when you allow the emotion of gratitude or the emotion of certainty to completely course through your body, you're creating a multi-sensory experience that's engraved at much deeper levels than simple thought. But even the most powerful affirmation can be lost if it's not accompanied by specific and detailed mental images. Your subconscious thinks in images, not abstract words. When you visualize your abundant life, you need to be extremely specific. It's not enough to imagine you have a lot of money. You have to see the exact place where you are, the clothes you're wearing, the people surrounding you, the sounds you hear, even the aromas you perceive. The greater the level of detail in your visualization, the more real it becomes for your subconscious, and the more powerful the programming that gets installed during the night. This understanding leads you to a revelation that completely changes your perspective on sleep and rest. You no longer see the night as a pause in your productive life, but as the most creative and powerful moment of your day. You understand that whoever truly masters their nights, whoever takes conscious control of those moments of transition towards sleep, is literally mastering their destiny. Each night becomes an opportunity to direct your dreams, not just toward pleasant experiences, but toward the manifestation of the life you really want to live. The transformation that occurs when you begin implementing this systematic approach goes far beyond what most people consider possible. Behind the scenes of your consciousness, there's a complete reorganization happening in how you process information about possibility, opportunity, and your own potential. Your journey into mastering this nocturnal programming reveals layers of capability that have been lying dormant, waiting for the right activation sequence. The impact of this systematic approach creates a cascade effect that influences not just your sleep quality, but every decision you make upon waking. The mindset shift that accompanies this level of precision in your nighttime routine is profound. You begin to understand that you're not just going through a relaxation ritual, but actively participating in the creation of your future reality through conscious collaboration with your subconscious mind. Now, I want to reveal to you how your dreams themselves can become the most sophisticated laboratory for molding and transforming your deepest beliefs about money, abundance, and what you truly deserve in life. Write in the comments, "I'm creating my personalized abundance code." Those extraordinary results I mentioned emerge when you understand that your dreams aren't simply random experiences or byproducts of rest, but true laboratories where you can create and manifest wealth directly and tangibly. Your dream experiences represent doors of immediate access to the purest creative power of your subconscious, a power that operates free from the logical limitations that normally restrict your capacity to imagine extraordinary possibilities. During the dream state, your mind can experience scenarios of total abundance without the interference of critical thinking that constantly whispers during the day, "That's impossible," or "I'm not good enough for that." In your dreams, you can literally live as a millionaire, feel the excitement of closing extraordinary deals, experience the gratitude of helping others from your abundance, and become intimately familiar with all the sensations that accompany true prosperity. Each of these dream experiences gets recorded in your subconscious as an authentic memory of abundance. What's fascinating about this process is that your brain doesn't distinguish between emotions you experience in dreams and those you live while awake. When you dream that you're receiving unexpected money and feel genuine joy and gratitude, those emotions generate the same neural connections as if you had actually received that money. You're literally training your nervous system to feel comfortable, familiar, and deserving of abundance through experiences that occur completely in the realm of expanded consciousness. But here comes the most powerful part. You can learn to consciously direct the content of your dreams so they become intensive training sessions in abundance. This is achieved through what the Forbidden Manuscript describes as directed nocturnal meditation, a practice that creates a direct and conscious bridge between your waking mind and You're sleeping subconscious. This nocturnal meditation isn't the typical relaxation practice most people know, but a technique specifically designed to maintain a thin but powerful thread of consciousness while you slide into sleep, allowing you to plant specific seeds of abundance in the most fertile ground that exists, your completely receptive subconscious mind. It's like being the director of your own dream movie, where you can subtly influence the themes, characters, and situations that will emerge during your rest hours. When you master this technique of directed nocturnal meditation, your nights transform into periods of intensive training where you repeatedly experience scenarios of financial success, gradually familiarizing yourself with the vibration of abundance until it becomes your natural and automatic frequency. You're not forcing or manipulating your dreams, but creating optimal internal conditions for experiences that reinforce your new, prosperous identity to emerge naturally. But there's a final component of this complete system that can permanently consolidate all these transformations and guarantee that the changes you experience manifest durably in your physical reality. The journey into conscious dream direction reveals hidden dimensions of your creative capacity that operate beyond the boundaries of waking consciousness. Behind the scenes of your sleeping mind, there's an entire universe of possibility being constantly shaped and reshaped by the quality of programming you install before sleep. Your mindset undergoes a fundamental transformation when you realize that every single night offers you approximately 8 hours of direct access to reality creation at its most powerful level. The impact of understanding this extends far beyond improving your financial situation and begins influencing every aspect of how you perceive and interact with life itself. The revelation about using dreams as abundance laboratories represents a complete paradigm shift from traditional approaches to personal development. Instead of working only with your conscious mind during waking hours, you're learning to engage the full spectrum of your consciousness, including those states that most people never learn to access deliberately. This systematic approach to nocturnal programming creates a compounding effect where each night builds upon the previous one, gradually but consistently rewiring your deep beliefs about money, success, and what's possible for someone like you. The transformation occurs not through force or struggle, but through the gentle yet persistent influence of repeated positive programming during your most receptive states. The hidden truth about this process is that it works regardless of your current financial situation, your educational background, or your past experiences with money. Your subconscious mind doesn't judge or analyze your worthiness. It simply responds to the programming you provide with absolute loyalty and precision. Now I want to share with you the specific technique that can accelerate this entire reprogramming process and convert every moment of your day into an opportunity to strengthen your magnetism toward prosperity. Because mastering your nights is just the beginning of a much deeper transformation. Write in the comments, "My dreams are creating my abundance." That specific technique for accelerating the reprogramming process I mentioned is based on understanding a truth that may sound mystical, but is backed by the most advanced science on consciousness states. There exists an absolutely sacred instant every night, a precise moment where the ordinary laws of reality are temporarily suspended and the entire universe stops to listen to what you have to say. This instant doesn't last hours or even minutes, but just a few crucial seconds that occur at that invisible frontier between being awake and being asleep. During this sacred moment, your conscious mind finally releases the absolute control it exercises during the day, but your subconscious hasn't yet completely taken the reins. It's as if there were a dimensional window where you have simultaneous access to both levels of consciousness, where you can communicate directly with forces that normally operate outside your conscious perception. The ancient sages knew this phenomenon and used it to manifest changes that seemed impossible according to ordinary laws of cause and effect. What makes this instant So extraordinarily powerful is that during those sacred seconds, your capacity to impress orders into the very fabric of reality multiplies exponentially. It's like having access to the universe's master controls, where every thought, every image, every emotion you generate gets recorded with an intensity that can permanently alter the course of your financial destiny. It's no coincidence that the deepest spiritual traditions developed specific rituals to honor and leverage these moments of transition. But here comes the revelation that completely changes your understanding about the power of visualization and mental programming. Your subconscious mind cannot distinguish between an experience you lived physically in the external world and an experience you imagined intensely with authentic emotion. For the deepest neurological centers of your brain, both experiences are equally real, equally valid, equally capable of influencing your future behavior and molding your beliefs about what's possible for you. This understanding unleashes a creative power that most people never get to experience because they don't understand that they're literally creating memories of the future every time they visualize with sufficient emotional clarity. When you imagine yourself signing the contract of your life, when you feel the emotion of receiving an extraordinary payment, when you experience the peace of having all your financial needs covered, you're not simply fantasizing about future possibilities. You're creating neurological impressions as deep as if you had actually lived those experiences. Your subconscious takes these imagined experiences and files them alongside your real memories, using them as references to determine what type of situations, people, and opportunities it should attract toward your life. It's like programming your internal navigation system with destinations you've already visited, even though those visits occurred solely in the laboratory of your emotional imagination. This capacity to create memories of the future intensifies dramatically when you combine it with programming during that sacred instant before sleep. When you visualize your abundance at that precise moment where the universe is listening, when you allow those images to saturate with authentic emotion right at the border between wakefulness and sleep, you're literally sending direct orders to the deepest levels of creation to reorganize your life circumstances towards the manifestation of what you've imagined with such clarity. The transformation that occurs behind the scenes of this process goes far beyond what most people consider possible. Your mindset undergoes a fundamental shift that influences not just how you think about money, but how you perceive opportunity, how you make decisions, and how you show up in the world every single day. The journey into mastering this sacred timing reveals layers of creative potential that operate outside the boundaries of ordinary consciousness. The impact of understanding and applying this knowledge creates a ripple effect that extends into every area of your life, not just your financial situation. Your decisions begin flowing from a completely different place when you've been consistently programming abundance during these moments of maximum receptivity. The hidden truth is that this isn't just about improving your relationship with money, but about accessing levels of personal power that most people never know exist. Now, I want to reveal to you how there's a specific way to structure the moments immediately after waking that can exponentially amplify the nocturnal work your subconscious performed, capturing and consolidating the new programming before daily activity dilutes or contaminates it. Write in the comments, "I'm accessing universal controls." That exponential amplification of nocturnal work I mentioned is based on one of the deepest laws governing abundance manifestation, the law of correspondence. This law establishes that there's a direct and unbreakable connection between your internal state and the circumstances you experience in your external reality. It's not a casual or symbolic connection, but an exact and mathematical correspondence, where what you cultivate in the deepest levels of your being inevitably reflects in the conditions, opportunities, and resources you attract toward your life. Your energetic vibration acts like an invisible radio transmitter that's constantly broadcasting signals to the universe about who you are, what you deserve, and what type of experiences are aligned with your deepest identity. These signals aren't based on what you say you want or what you consciously desire, but on the real frequency you emit from your subconscious. That frequency forms from your most intimate beliefs about money, your personal value, and the possibilities you consider realistic for someone like you. Most people live completely unconscious of the frequency they're transmitting, wondering why they keep attracting the same limiting financial situations, despite working hard or applying different strategies. The answer lies in them continuing to operate from the same subconscious vibration of scarcity, fear, or unworthiness they've cultivated for years. And that internal vibration continues creating external correspondences that confirm exactly those limiting beliefs. But when you understand this law and begin working consciously to transform your vibration from the deepest levels, something extraordinary starts happening. Your external reality has no choice but to reorganize itself to correspond with your new internal frequency. It's like changing the radio station you're transmitting and discovering that you automatically begin receiving a completely different type of music in your daily experience. This is where the true power of nocturnal programming you've been learning reveals itself. During sleep hours, when your conscious mind finally stops interfering with the process, your subconscious takes the orders it received before sleep and begins working tirelessly to reorganize your energetic vibration according to those new instructions. It's like having a team of engineers working all night to reconfigure your internal transmitter, adjusting the frequency so it broadcasts abundance instead of scarcity, certainty instead of doubt, worthiness instead of unworthiness. Your subconscious mind never rests, never takes a break, never doubts the orders it receives. While your body recovers from the day, this extraordinarily powerful part of your being is organizing, integrating, and reorganizing all elements of your financial identity according to the last instructions you provided before closing your eyes. It's like having the most loyal and efficient employee in the world, working specifically to transform your relationship with money, but who can only perform their work when you give clear instructions and let them operate without interference. This nocturnal vibrational reorganization is why some people experience seemingly miraculous changes in their financial circumstances after periods of conscious practice. It's not that the universe suddenly decided to favor them, but that they've managed to fundamentally change the frequency from which they're operating, and their external reality is simply corresponding with this new internal vibration. The transformation that occurs behind the scenes during these hours of conscious programming goes deeper than most people imagine. Your mindset undergoes a complete restructuring that influences not just your thoughts about money, but your automatic responses to opportunity, your decision-making patterns, and your capacity to recognize and act on abundance-creating possibilities. The journey into understanding this correspondence between internal state and external manifestation reveals hidden truths about how reality actually operates. The impact of mastering this principle extends far beyond your financial situation and begins influencing every aspect of how you show up in the world. Your decisions begin flowing from a completely different place when you've systematically reprogrammed your internal frequency. The hidden truth is that success isn't about forcing external changes, but about aligning your internal vibration with the reality you want to experience, and then allowing that reality to naturally unfold. Now, I want to show you how you can maximize this vibrational reorganization process and accelerate the manifestation of tangible changes in your economic situation through understanding your true nature as an energetic being. Write in the comments, "I'm reorganizing my financial frequency." That maximization of the vibrational reorganization process I mentioned is based on understanding a fundamental truth about your energetic nature. You are literally a walking invisible magnet, constantly attracting toward your experience exactly what corresponds with the frequency you're emitting from the deepest levels of your being. And this magnetism intensifies dramatically during sleep hours, when the defenses and filters of your conscious mind are completely relaxed. During the day, your conscious mind constantly interferes with your natural magnetic capacity, creating resistance, doubts, and contradictions that weaken the clarity of the signal you're sending to the universe. It's like trying to tune a radio station while someone is constantly moving the dial, creating static and confusion in the reception. But when you sleep, that interference disappears completely, allowing your subconscious magnetism to operate with a purity and potency that can attract extraordinary changes in surprisingly short periods. This understanding completely transforms how you perceive your sleep hours. You no longer see them as lost time or simply physical rest, but as the most productive and creative hours of your day, where your capacity to attract abundance is functioning at maximum potential. It's during these moments when your internal magnet can work without obstacles, reorganizing the invisible circumstances that will determine the opportunities, encounters, and resources that will appear in your waking life. But here comes a revelation that can exponentially multiply the power of this nocturnal magnetism. Mental energy doesn't operate linearly as most people assume, but exponentially. This means that each thought of abundance you sustain with emotion doesn't simply add to the previous ones, but multiplies, creating a cascade of amplification that can generate results that seem disproportionate with respect to the effort invested. When you plant a thought of wealth charged with authentic emotion in your subconscious before sleep, that thought doesn't remain static during the night. Instead, it reproduces, amplifies, and expands, creating waves of resonance that extend far beyond your individual mind. It's like throwing a stone into a perfectly calm lake and watching the waves expand in increasingly larger circles, touching shores that are very far from the initial point of impact. This exponential amplification explains why some people experience seemingly miraculous changes after relatively short periods of conscious practice. It's not that they've made more effort than others, but that they've understood how to leverage the exponential nature of mental energy to create results that go far beyond what their initial investment might suggest. It's the difference between pushing a heavy rock uphill with brute force and finding the perfect leverage point that allows you to move that same rock with minimal effort. Your subconscious has access to this exponential amplification power because it operates outside the linear limitations that govern your conscious thinking. While your conscious mind thinks in terms of sequential cause and effect, your subconscious can work with multiple simultaneous possibilities, creating synchronicities and confluences that seem impossible from a logical perspective. It's like having access to a quantum computer that can process millions of variables simultaneously, finding solutions and paths your conscious mind could never calculate. The transformation that occurs when you combine your natural magnetism during sleep with understanding exponential amplification of mental energy begins operating from a level of creation that completely transcends traditional methods of financial improvement. The journey into mastering this exponential approach reveals hidden dimensions of your creative capacity that most people never access. Behind the scenes of this process, your mindset undergoes a fundamental restructuring that influences not just how you think about abundance, but how you perceive the very nature of possibility itself. The impact of understanding these principles creates a ripple effect that extends into every decision you make, every opportunity you recognize, and every action you take. Your decisions begin flowing from a place of expanded awareness when you've learned to work consciously with these exponential principles. The hidden truth is that you're not just improving your financial situation, but accessing levels of personal power that operate beyond the boundaries of ordinary consciousness. Now, I want to reveal to you how to identify and completely close what the forbidden manuscript describes as invisible energy leaks, because these leaks can sabotage even the most powerful nocturnal programming if left unaddressed. Write in the comments, "I am an exponential abundance magnet." Those invisible energy leaks I mentioned can only be sustained when you learn to identify and completely close what the forbidden manuscript describes as the subtle drains that sabotage your abundance vibration. These leaks are like small holes in a container trying to hold water. They may seem insignificant individually, but together they can completely empty your capacity to maintain a stable and powerful abundance vibration. The most destructive energy leaks are those that occur so automatically and habitually that you don't even perceive them consciously. They're those moments when your mind automatically slides toward thoughts of doubt about your capacity to create wealth. Those occasions when you internally criticize yourself for not progressing fast enough. Those instances when you allow comparison with others to drain your confidence in your own path toward prosperity. Each of these small leaks acts as interference in the clear signal you're trying to transmit to the universe. What's treacherous about these leaks is that they can completely sabotage the powerful work you do during your nocturnal programming moments. You can have the most intense and emotionally charged visualization session before sleep, but if during the following day you allow automatic thoughts of limitation to contaminate your energetic field, you're essentially erasing much of the positive programming you installed during the night. It's like writing an important message in the sand and then allowing waves to gradually erase it until no trace of your original intention remains. Energetic vigilance becomes then a practice as important as nocturnal programming itself. You need to develop the ability to observe your thoughts during the day with the same attention you put into your nighttime visualizations, capturing those leaks the moment they occur and immediately replacing them with thoughts that reinforce your new abundance identity. It's like being the guardian of your own energetic field, jealously protecting the frequency you've worked so hard to cultivate. But there's an aspect of energy leaks that most people completely overlook, and it has to do with the subtle but constant influence of your physical environment on your vibrational state. Your physical space isn't simply a neutral place where you live, but a direct external projection of your internal state, which simultaneously reinforces and amplifies whatever frequency you're cultivating internally. When you honestly observe your immediate environment, your home, your workspace, even your car, you're seeing an exact reflection of your internal mental organization and your subconscious relationship with abundance. If your space is full of clutter, broken objects you haven't repaired, accumulations of things you no longer need, or simply lacks beauty and inspiration, then you're living in an environment that constantly whispers to your subconscious that scarcity, neglect, and limitation are normal and acceptable in your life. Your subconscious continuously absorbs these environmental signals as confirmation of your real identity beyond what you consciously declare you desire. It's like living in a museum of scarcity while trying to program yourself for abundance. The two forces work in opposite directions, creating an internal tension that dramatically weakens your capacity to maintain a pure prosperity vibration. The transformation that occurs when you consciously transform your environment to reflect the abundance you're cultivating internally creates a powerful reinforcement system that supports and amplifies your nocturnal programming work 24 hours a day. Behind the scenes of this environmental shift, there's a profound change happening in how your subconscious processes information about what's possible and appropriate for you. The journey into creating energetic coherence between your internal programming and external environment reveals hidden dimensions of how manifestation actually works. The impact of aligning these elements creates a synergistic effect that accelerates your transformation far beyond what either approach could achieve alone. Your mindset undergoes a fundamental shift when you realize that every aspect of Your environment is either supporting or sabotaging your abundance programming. The hidden truth is that your external world is constantly communicating with your subconscious, either reinforcing limiting beliefs or strengthening your new prosperity identity. Your decisions about how to organize and beautify your space become conscious choices about the kind of energetic field you want to live within. The revelation about environmental influence on subconscious programming opens up entirely new possibilities for accelerating your financial transformation. Now, I want to share with you how this understanding leads to creating what the manuscript describes as a 24-hour reinforcement system that works continuously to support your abundance programming, even when you're not consciously thinking about it. Write in the comments, "My environment reflects my abundance." That 24-hour reinforcement system I mentioned is exponentially amplified when you understand a truth that may sound uncomfortable, but is absolutely liberating. Your subconscious mind never rests, never takes a break, never disconnects from its primary function of creating your future reality based on the last instructions it received before you closed your eyes. While your body recovers from the day and your conscious mind temporarily withdraws, that extraordinarily powerful part of your being continues working tirelessly like an invisible architect, designing the circumstances, opportunities, and encounters you'll experience the next day. This understanding completely transforms the responsibility you feel toward your nighttime thoughts. You can no longer afford the luxury of going to bed casually, allowing random thoughts or daily worries to be the last thing your mind processes before sleep. Every night becomes a crucial investment in your financial future, an opportunity to deliver specific and emotionally charged instructions to the most creative force you possess. It's like having daily access to the master controls of your economic destiny, but only during those sacred moments of transition toward rest. What you deliver to your subconscious in those final instants of consciousness literally becomes the building material of your tomorrow. If you allow them to be thoughts of gratitude, images of abundance, and sensations of certainty about your prosperity, then your subconscious will use those elements to create a day full of opportunities aligned with that frequency. But if the last things you process are financial worries, frustrations about your current situation, or doubts about your capacity to create wealth, then you're providing your subconscious mind with exactly the ingredients it needs to create more experiences that confirm those limitations. But here another fundamental secret is revealed that determines whether this transformation will be superficial or profound. Your internal dialogue during waking hours acts as the silent but constant architect of your financial destiny. Every conversation you have with yourself, every mental comment you make about your economic situation, every interpretation you give to the financial events of your day is literally designing the structure of your future reality. Your subconscious listens to every word of this constant internal dialogue and interprets it as instructions about what type of experiences it should create for you. When you tell yourself things like, "I never have enough money," or "It's always difficult for me," or "I'm not good with finances," you're not simply expressing temporary frustrations. You're giving direct orders to the part of you that has the real power to alter your economic circumstances. Most people live completely unconscious of this constant internal dialogue, allowing it to flow automatically according to patterns they learned in childhood or adopted during moments of financial difficulty. But when you become aware of this internal conversation and begin directing it consciously toward declarations that reinforce your new abundance identity, you're literally reprogramming your internal architect to design a completely different economic life. The transformation that occurs behind the scenes when you master this internal dialogue is profound and far-reaching. Your mindset undergoes a fundamental restructuring that influences not just your thoughts about money, but your automatic responses to opportunity, your decision-making patterns under pressure, and your capacity to recognize abundance-creating possibilities when they appear. The journey into conscious dialogue management reveals hidden dimensions of how your reality gets constructed moment by moment through the quality of your internal communication. The impact of understanding this continuous programming extends far beyond your financial situation and begins influencing every aspect of how you show up in the world. Your decisions begin flowing from a completely different place when you've systematically reprogrammed your internal conversation patterns. The hidden truth about this process is that your external life doesn't respond to what you consciously desire, but exclusively to what's coded in the depths of your subconscious. You can desire millions with all your conscious mind, but if your subconscious is programmed with beliefs of limitation, unworthiness, or fear of money, then those subconscious programs will always win the battle. Your subconscious is like the operating system of your financial reality. It doesn't matter what new applications you try to install on the surface if the fundamental operating system is corrupted with scarcity viruses. This is why so many people work tirelessly, learn sophisticated strategies, and exert themselves to the maximum, but continue experiencing the same patterns of economic limitation year after year. Now, I want to reveal to you the specific technique that can dramatically accelerate this internal dialogue reprogramming and convert every moment of your day into an opportunity to strengthen your magnetism toward prosperity. Write in the comments, "My internal dialogue builds abundance." That specific technique for accelerating internal dialogue reprogramming I mentioned is revealed when you understand that your dreams aren't simply random experiences or byproducts of rest, but true laboratories where you can create and manifest wealth directly and tangibly. Your dream experiences represent doors of immediate access to the purest creative power of your subconscious, a power that operates free from the logical limitations that normally restrict your capacity to imagine extraordinary possibilities. During the dream state, your mind can experience scenarios of total abundance without the interference of critical thinking that constantly whispers during the day. In your dreams, you can literally live as a millionaire. Feel the excitement of closing extraordinary deals, experience the gratitude of helping others from your abundance, and familiarize yourself intimately with all the sensations that accompany true prosperity. Each of these dream experiences gets recorded in your subconscious as an authentic memory of abundance. What's fascinating about this process is that your brain doesn't distinguish between emotions you experience in dreams and those you live while awake. When you dream that you're receiving unexpected money and feel genuine joy and gratitude, those emotions generate the same neural connections as if you had actually received that money. You're literally training your nervous system to feel comfortable, familiar, and deserving of abundance through experiences that occur completely in the realm of expanded consciousness. But here comes the most powerful part. You can learn to consciously direct the content of your dreams so they become intensive training sessions in abundance. This is achieved through what the Forbidden Manuscript describes as the magic question. Technique so simple that most people underestimate it, but so powerful that it can completely reconfigure your subconscious relationship with wealth in a matter of weeks. This question doesn't seek intellectual information, but is designed to activate a deep emotional experience that gets recorded in your subconscious with an intensity that endures throughout the entire sleep process. Just before falling asleep, when you're already in that transition zone between wakefulness and sleep, you ask yourself with genuine curiosity, how does it feel to live with total wealth? It's not a rhetorical question or an intellectual exercise. It's a direct invitation to your subconscious to begin generating emotional, sensory, and experiential responses that connect you with the vibrational frequency of abundance. What's brilliant about this question is that it doesn't ask for money, doesn't ask for specific material things, doesn't focus on what you don't have. Instead, it requests the sensation, the internal experience, the state of being that accompanies true wealth. Your subconscious responds to this question by beginning to create images, memories of the future, and bodily sensations that allow you to experience that abundance as if it were already a present reality in your life. When you ask this question with sincerity and openness, something fascinating begins happening in your sleeping mind. Your subconscious starts searching for answers, not just in the form of thoughts, but in the form of complete dream experiences. You can begin dreaming that you're signing important contracts, that you're receiving unexpected money, that you're helping others from your abundance, or simply that you're experiencing that deep sensation of security and freedom that accompanies true prosperity. But here's the most powerful part of this entire process. Every time your subconscious mind generates one of these dream experiences of abundance, it's literally creating new neural pathways associated with wealth. It's like training your brain to familiarize itself with success, to feel comfortable in prosperity environments, to normalize the idea that abundance is natural and appropriate for you. This subconscious familiarization with wealth has effects that go far beyond what you experience during sleep. When you wake up, you begin moving through the world with a different energy, a subtle but unshakable confidence that arises from having rehearsed prosperity throughout the entire night. Your decisions during the day start being influenced by this new nocturnal programming, and gradually you begin taking actions that are aligned with someone who feels comfortable and deserving of abundance. The transformation that occurs behind the scenes through this dream programming reveals hidden dimensions of how your subconscious processes and integrates new identity patterns. The journey into conscious dream direction opens up possibilities for accelerated transformation that most people never consider. Now, I want to show you how this magic question is only the first step of a more complex process that involves specific techniques for anchoring these dream experiences and converting them into permanent transformations of your financial reality. Write in the comments, "I'm programming my prosperity dreams." Those permanent transformations I mentioned are exponentially amplified when you incorporate the second element of this ancestral process, sensory anchoring. This is where ancient wisdom meets modern neuroscience in an absolutely fascinating way. Your brain is constantly creating associations between internal experiences and external stimuli, and you can use this natural mechanism to dramatically strengthen the programming you're installing during your moments of transition towards sleep. Sensory anchoring works through a simple but significant physical object that you hold in your hands while performing your nocturnal programming. It can be a special stone, an amulet that has meaning for you, an old coin, or even a paper where you've written a powerful phrase. What's important isn't the object itself, but the conscious intention with which you use it and the consistency with which you incorporate it into your nightly ritual. Each night, while holding this object and performing your abundance visualization, your subconscious begins creating a deep neurological connection between the physical stimulus of the object and the emotional state of prosperity you're generating. It's like creating a tangible switch that can instantly activate your abundance frequency. Over time, simply touching this object during the day can automatically trigger feelings of confidence, certainty, and connection with your financial goals. But the true power of sensory anchoring manifests when you combine it with the third phase of this transformative process, the golden scene. This is where your visualization capacity elevates to a completely different level, because you're no longer simply imagining wealth abstractly, but creating a mental movie so detailed and emotionally charged that your subconscious experiences it as a real or future memory. The golden scene must include three fundamental elements that distinguish it from ordinary fantasy. First, the authentic emotion that arises when you allow your heart to completely fill with gratitude for this abundance you're visualizing. It's not enough to mentally see a bank account full of money. You need to physically feel the peace, security, and joy you would experience knowing that all your financial needs are more than covered. The second crucial element is movement within your visualization. Your golden scene can't be static like a photograph, but dynamic, like a lived experience. You see yourself walking through your ideal home, feeling the texture of materials under your feet. You observe yourself signing important documents, experiencing the satisfaction of closing successful deals. You visualize yourself embracing loved ones while sharing your abundance with them. This internal movement convinces your subconscious that it's remembering real experiences, not imagining future fantasies. The third element that converts your visualization into powerful programming is active gratitude that you permeate into every aspect of your golden scene. It's not gratitude for what you might have someday, but deep and felt gratitude for what's already manifesting in your life. This present gratitude acts as a vibrational signal that tells the universe you're already ready to receive and wisely administer the abundance flowing toward you. When you combine these three elements, authentic emotion, dynamic movement, and present gratitude, while holding your sensory anchor, you're creating a multidimensional experience that gets recorded in your subconscious with an intensity that rivals the most significant memories of your life. It's like installing a new operating program in the most powerful computer you possess, your subconscious mind. The transformation that occurs behind the scenes when you master this systematic approach goes far beyond simple visualization or positive thinking. You're accessing the control room of your reality creation mechanism, the place where your deepest beliefs about what's possible for you are formed and reformed on a nightly basis. The journey into this level of precision programming reveals hidden dimensions of your creative capacity that operate beyond the boundaries of ordinary consciousness. The impact of understanding and applying these techniques creates a compound effect where each night builds upon the previous one, gradually but consistently rewiring your entire relationship with abundance. Your mindset undergoes a fundamental evolution when you realize that you're not just improving your financial situation, but literally redesigning your identity at the deepest levels. The hidden truth is that this systematic approach works regardless of your current circumstances because you're working with the foundational programming that creates all external experiences. Now, I want to reveal to you the fourth element, a final step that seals this entire process completely and guarantees that all the programming you've installed will work in your favor during sleep hours without interference or internal sabotage. Write in the comments, "I'm anchoring my new reality." That fourth element I mentioned represents perhaps the most challenging but also the most liberating aspect of this entire ancestral process, total surrender. After having carefully planted all the abundant seeds through the magic question, sensory anchoring, and the golden scene, comes the moment to completely release conscious control and allow your subconscious mind to take absolute command of the manifestation situation. This surrender isn't passivity or resignation, but a sophisticated form of active trust in the infinite wisdom of your own subconscious. It's like handing over the keys to your financial future to the most experienced and capable pilot that exists. That part of you that never sleeps, that's connected to patterns and possibilities your conscious mind can't even perceive, and that has access to resources and synchronicities that go far beyond what your logic can plan. The challenge of surrender lies in resisting the temptation to interfere with the process once you've initiated it. Your conscious mind will want to analyze, question, modify, or accelerate the results. It will want to know exactly how, when, and where the abundance you've programmed will arrive. But this mental interference acts like static on a radio signal, distorting the clear programming you've installed and dramatically reducing its effectiveness. When you truly achieve surrender of your nocturnal programming to your subconscious and sleep in a state of total trust, something extraordinary happens during sleep hours. Your deep mind begins working like an invisible architect, designing opportunities, preparing encounters, adjusting your energetic vibration, and aligning circumstances that will inevitably bring you closer to manifesting what you visualized with such clarity and emotion. But here's where another fundamental secret is revealed that determines whether this process becomes a permanent transformation or simply a temporary exercise in positive thinking. The forbidden manuscript is absolutely clear on this point. The words you allow in your internal dialogue during those final moments before sleep have the literal power to build or completely destroy your future fortune. Your subconscious doesn't distinguish between a constructive order and a destructive one. It simply obeys with the same unwavering loyalty any instruction it receives, with sufficient emotion and repetition. This means that if your last thoughts before sleep are filled with phrases like, "I never have enough," "Money, this is too difficult," "I don't know if I'm capable of achieving it," or "I hope someday I can get out of this situation," you're literally programming your subconscious to create more experiences that confirm exactly those declarations. Every word charged with emotion and repeated frequently becomes a direct command to your subconscious mind. And these commands execute throughout the entire night while you sleep, subtly molding your perception, your decisions, and your capacity to recognize opportunities the next day. It's like dictating the script of your own financial movie each night, and your subconscious is the director who's responsible for making exactly what you've written come true. This understanding completely transforms the importance you give to your internal dialogue, especially during those sacred moments of transition towards sleep. You can no longer afford the luxury of thinking carelessly or mentally repeating phrases that sabotage your prosperity. Every word becomes a tool of construction or destruction, and you have the power to consciously choose which one to use. When you master this aspect of internal nocturnal language and learn to formulate declarations that strengthen your magnetism toward abundance, you begin experiencing a notable acceleration in the manifestation of financial opportunities and resources in your daily life. The transformation that occurs behind the scenes when you take control of this final programming element is profound and far-reaching. Your mindset undergoes a fundamental restructuring that influences not just your thoughts about money, but your automatic responses to challenge, your decision-making patterns under pressure, and your capacity to maintain faith in your vision, even when external circumstances seem unchanged. The journey into mastering this internal language control reveals hidden dimensions of how reality gets constructed through the quality of your moment-to-moment mental communication with yourself. The impact of understanding this principle extends far beyond your financial situation and begins influencing every aspect of how you show up in the world. Your decisions begin flowing from a place of expanded consciousness when you've learned to guard your internal dialogue as carefully as you would protect your most valuable treasure. The hidden truth is that this level of self-mastery creates a foundation for sustained transformation that can withstand any external circumstances. Now, I want to share with you the formula of the 3 golden phrases that can accelerate this entire transformation process and ensure that every night becomes a powerful investment in your abundant future. Write in the comments, "My words construct my fortune." That acceleration in manifestation I mentioned is exponentially amplified when you incorporate what the forbidden manuscript reveals as the formula of the 3 golden phrases. These aren't casual affirmations or generic, motivational phrases you find in any self-help book. They're declarations specifically designed to communicate with your subconscious in the exact language it understands and obeys without resistance. The first golden phrase establishes an immediate present reality. Everything I desire is already manifesting. Notice the precision of this declaration. It doesn't say it's going to manifest or I hope it manifests. It categorically declares that the process is already underway, that the invisible forces of the universe are already aligning to bring you exactly what you've programmed during your moments of nocturnal visualization. This phrase transforms your relationship with time and waiting, eliminating the anxiety of when and replacing it with the certainty of now. The second golden phrase activates total confidence in your internal wisdom. My subconscious knows the exact path to wealth. Here you're recognizing that you don't need your conscious mind to have all the answers, that you don't have to figure out every step of the process. You're delegating the responsibility of finding routes, opportunities, and connections to the part of you that has access to information and possibilities that go far beyond what your logic can calculate. It's like activating the most sophisticated navigation system in the world and trusting that it will take you exactly where you need to be. The third golden phrase connects your individual process with something much larger than yourself. I'm aligned with the infinite source of prosperity. This declaration recognizes that abundance isn't a limited resource you have to snatch from others, but emerges from an inexhaustible source to which you can connect directly. It eliminates any feelings of guilt or scarcity and positions you as a natural channel for prosperity to flow through you toward the world. When you repeat these three golden phrases each night with genuine intention and authentic emotion, you're installing a completely new operating system in your subconscious mind. But what's extraordinary about this programming is that its influence extends far beyond sleep hours. These phrases act as seeds that germinate during the night and bloom as intuitive decisions, automatic behaviors, and expanded perceptions during the day. You begin noticing that you make different decisions without knowing exactly why. You see opportunities that previously passed completely unnoticed by you. You feel a subtle but unshakable confidence that impels you to act at crucial moments. You attract conversations and encounters that bring you closer to your financial goals in ways that seem like coincidences, but are actually the direct result of the new programming you've been installing night after night. This gradual but constant transformation of your daytime behavior is tangible evidence that your subconscious has completely accepted the new programming and is working tirelessly to manifest in your external reality what you've sown in your internal reality. It's like being two people, the conscious you that lives day to day and the subconscious you that's constantly adjusting, refining, and directing your life toward the abundance you've programmed. The journey into understanding how these golden phrases work reveals hidden dimensions of how language interfaces with consciousness at the deepest levels. Behind the scenes of this transformation, your neural architecture is literally rewiring itself to support new patterns of thought, feeling, and action that align with prosperity consciousness. The impact of mastering this linguistic programming creates a ripple effect that influences not just your financial decisions, but every aspect of how you show up in the world. Your mindset undergoes a fundamental evolution that affects your relationships, your career choices, your daily habits, and your overall relationship with possibility itself. The hidden truth about this process is that it works regardless of your current circumstances, because you're working with the foundational programming that creates all external experiences. Your transformation occurs from the inside out, which makes it sustainable and authentic rather than dependent on external conditions. Now, I want to take you even deeper into this revelation and show you how there's still another level to this process that can accelerate your results from weeks to days, and it has to do with how you can structure your first moments of consciousness upon waking to capture and amplify the nocturnal work your subconscious performed. Write in the comments, "My decisions flow from my internal abundance." That acceleration from weeks to days I mentioned is intimately connected with one of the deepest secrets of manifestation, the difference between desiring something and becoming that thing you once only desired. There exists an invisible but absolutely real line that separates those who fantasize about abundance from those who naturally embody it. And crossing that line requires something very specific that most people aren't willing to do. Repeat this sacred ritual for 21 consecutive nights without breaking the sequence. This period of 21 days isn't arbitrary or mystical, but is based on deep neurological patterns that determine how much time your brain needs to create new automatic pathways of thought and behavior. During the first nights, your conscious mind may resist, doubt, or attempt to sabotage the process with its habitual logic. But when you persist with faith and discipline, something extraordinary begins happening around day 14. Mental resistance weakens, and your subconscious starts accepting this new programming as its operational truth. Upon completing the 21-night cycle, you experience what the Forbidden Manuscript describes as crossing the invisible line. You're no longer visualizing abundance as something external you hope to attract toward your life. Instead, you begin operating from an internal state of abundance that automatically reflects in your decisions, your energy, and your capacity to recognize opportunities. It's the difference between someone who wants to be rich and someone who simply is prosperous in their essence, regardless of their temporary circumstances. This internal transformation is so profound that it literally changes the vibrational frequency from which you interact with the world. People begin perceiving you differently without knowing exactly why. Opportunities start seeking your energy instead of you having to chase them. Resources begin flowing toward you in ways that previously seemed impossible. It's not magic. It's the natural result of having completely reprogrammed your subconscious identity from scarcity toward abundance. But here comes a revelation that may be uncomfortable for those who prefer blaming external factors for their financial situation. Your current life doesn't respond to what you consciously desire, but exclusively to what's coded in the depths of your subconscious. You can desire millions with all your conscious mind, but if your subconscious is programmed with beliefs of limitation, unworthiness, or fear of money, then those subconscious programs will always win the battle. Your subconscious is like the operating system of your financial reality. It doesn't matter what new applications you try to install on the surface if the fundamental operating system is corrupted with scarcity viruses. This is why so many people work tirelessly, learn sophisticated strategies, and exert themselves to the maximum, but continue experiencing the same patterns of economic limitation year after year. They're trying to change effects without transforming the programmatic causes operating at subconscious levels. This understanding frees you from the frustration of trying to force changes from the conscious level and allows you to focus on the only transformation that really matters, the complete reprogramming of your subconscious identity. When you change who you are at the deepest levels of your being, your external reality has no choice but to reorganize itself to reflect that new internal identity. The 21-day nocturnal ritual you've been learning is precisely the tool you need to perform this fundamental reprogramming. The transformation that occurs behind the scenes during this systematic process goes far beyond what most approaches to personal development can achieve. You're working with the foundational code that generates all your external experiences. The journey into this level of identity transformation reveals hidden dimensions of human potential that operate beyond the boundaries of ordinary consciousness. The impact of completing this process creates lasting changes that influence every aspect of how you perceive and interact with reality itself. Your mindset undergoes a complete evolution that affects not just your financial situation, but your relationships, your career trajectory, your daily habits, and your overall sense of what's possible for someone like you. The hidden truth is that this transformation becomes permanent because it occurs at the level of identity rather than behavior. Now I want to show you how to protect and nurture this new programming once you've installed it, because there's a crucial aspect that determines whether this transformation will be temporary or permanent, and it has to do with how you guard this new frequency against the influences that could dilute or contaminate it. Write in the comments, "I'm reprogramming my financial identity." That protection and nurturing of new programming I mentioned is based on a crucial understanding about the natural rhythms of your mind and the moments of maximum receptivity that occur during each 24-hour cycle. You've learned that there exists a sacred instant before sleep, but what you perhaps hadn't considered is that the entire night represents an extraordinary opportunity for mental reprogramming, precisely because it's when your conscious mind finally lowers its guard. During the day, your conscious mind acts as a hyper-vigilant guardian, filtering, questioning, and resisting any information that doesn't coincide with its established beliefs about money and abundance. It's like having an internal censor working constantly to maintain the status quo of your financial reality, automatically rejecting any thought or possibility that challenges existing programming. This conscious resistance is why affirmations and visualizations practiced during the day often produce limited or temporary results. But when night arrives and your body begins preparing for rest, something fascinating happens in your mental architecture. That vigilant guardian that is your conscious mind begins gradually relaxing, reducing its filtering function and allowing new information to penetrate directly towards subconscious levels where your deepest beliefs about what's possible for you are stored. It's like the security doors of your mind slowly opening, creating direct access to the hard drive where your patterns of abundance or scarcity are recorded. This natural relaxation of mental defenses converts each night into a unique window of opportunity to install new programming without the interference of skeptical logic or limiting beliefs that normally sabotage your transformation attempts. This is why ancient traditions developed specific rituals for twilight hours, because they intuitively understood there was something special about these transition moments that made them extraordinarily powerful for manifestation. But here's where many people make an error that dramatically reduces the effectiveness of their nocturnal practice. They try to use only verbal affirmations or only visualizations, without understanding that real transformative power emerges when you combine both techniques synchronously to create what the Forbidden Manuscript describes as a total reality experience for your subconscious. When you repeat a powerful affirmation while simultaneously visualizing the corresponding scene with all your internal senses activated, you're creating an experience so complete and convincing that your subconscious cannot distinguish it from a real memory. It's like creating a movie so vivid and emotionally intense that your deep mind files it alongside your authentic abundance experiences, using it as evidence that prosperity is natural and normal in your life. This synchronized combination of word and image, charged with emotion, creates what neuroscientists call a deep neurological impression, a footprint in your brain that automatically influences your future decisions, perceptions, and behaviors. It's the difference between planting a seed on the surface of soil and planting it in fertile earth at the correct depth, where it can establish permanent roots that produce lasting fruit. The transformation that occurs behind the scenes when you master this synchronized approach goes far beyond what traditional methods of financial improvement can achieve. Your mindset undergoes a fundamental restructuring that influences not just your thoughts about money, but your automatic responses to opportunity, your decision-making patterns under pressure, and your capacity to maintain faith in your vision, even when external circumstances seem unchanged. The journey into understanding this synergy between verbal programming and visual experience reveals hidden dimensions of how your subconscious processes and integrates new identity patterns. The impact of mastering this technique creates a compound effect where each night of practice builds upon the previous one, gradually but consistently rewiring your deep beliefs about what's possible for someone like you. Your decisions begin flowing from a completely different place when you've systematically reprogrammed your subconscious through this synchronized approach. The hidden truth is that this isn't just about improving your financial situation, but about accessing levels of personal power and creative capacity that most people never learn to activate. Now, I want to reveal to you how there's a final element that can exponentially multiply the power of this synchronized combination, and it has to do with structuring your physical and energetic environment to maximize your subconscious receptivity during these sacred programming moments. Write in the comments, "I'm creating total abundance experiences." That final element that exponentially multiplies the synchronized combination I mentioned reveals itself when you understand that you're not simply passively sleeping, but that you can learn to cultivate what the ancients called conscious sleep, an extraordinary state of consciousness that develops specifically in that liminal zone between being completely awake and entering deep sleep. This state isn't mystical or require years of training, but represents a natural ability we all possess that most people never learn to consciously activate. Conscious sleep allows you to maintain a thin but powerful thread of intention while your body relaxes and your conscious mind gradually withdraws. It's like being the director of your own mental movie during those crucial transition moments, where you can subtly guide the content of your dream experiences toward scenarios that reinforce your new abundance programming. You're not forcing or aggressively controlling your dreams, but creating a propitious internal environment for images and experiences that support your economic transformation to emerge naturally. During this state of conscious sleep, your capacity to mold your financial reality multiplies because you're working directly with the most malleable mental substance that exists, the thoughts and images that emerge when conscious resistance is at minimum. It's like having access to the finest and most moldable clay to sculpt exactly the financial identity you want to embody. Each image of prosperity you allow, each sensation of economic security you cultivate, each emotion of gratitude you generate during these moments gets imprinted with an intensity that can permanently alter your subconscious relationship with money. What's fascinating about this process is that it's backed by one of the most revolutionary discoveries of modern neuroscience, neuroplasticity. Your brain isn't a fixed and immutable structure, as was previously believed, but an extraordinarily adaptable organ that's constantly creating new neural connections, strengthening certain thought patterns and weakening others, based directly on the experiences you provide with greatest frequency and emotional intensity. Each night you practice this conscious programming during sleep, you're literally rewiring your brain to feel comfortable, familiar, and competent. In abundance environments, you're creating neural highways that automatically connect prosperity thoughts with emotions of confidence and certainty. You're weakening old connections that associated money with stress, fear, or difficulty, and strengthening new networks that link wealth with naturalness, ease, and deservingness. This neurological transformation isn't instantaneous, but it's inevitable when you provide your brain with the type of internal experiences it needs to reorganize itself. It's like training a muscle, but instead of developing physical strength, you're developing financial strength at the level of your most basic mental architecture. Each night of conscious practice is building the neurological infrastructure that will automatically support behaviors, decisions, and perceptions aligned with abundance. The transformation that occurs behind the scenes of this systematic approach goes far beyond what most people consider possible through mental techniques alone. The Journey into understanding how neuroplasticity interfaces with conscious sleep programming reveals hidden dimensions of human potential that operate beyond the boundaries of ordinary awareness. The impact of mastering this combination creates a synergistic effect that accelerates transformation far beyond what either approach could achieve alone. Your mindset undergoes a fundamental evolution that influences every aspect of how you perceive and interact with financial opportunity. The hidden truth is that you're not just changing your thoughts about money, but literally reconstructing the neural pathways that determine your automatic responses to abundance-creating situations. Your decisions begin flowing from a completely different neurological foundation when you've systematically rewired your brain through this conscious sleep approach. Behind the scenes of this transformation, there's a profound shift happening in how your nervous system processes information about what's possible and appropriate for someone like you. That specific way to structure your waking moments I mentioned is where the true consolidation of your nocturnal transformation occurs. When you first open your eyes, there's a brief window where the programming installed during sleep is still fresh and malleable, ready to be anchored into your conscious awareness before the demands of daily life take over. Those first few minutes of consciousness are like a bridge between the profound work your subconscious performed all night and the practical reality you're about to enter. It's in these moments that you can capture the insights, the renewed sense of possibility, and the subtle but powerful shifts in your financial identity that occurred while you slept. This isn't about forcing yourself to remember specific dreams or analyzing what happened during the night. It's about allowing yourself to feel the difference, to notice the quiet confidence that comes from having spent 8 hours in deep communion with your most abundant self. It's about recognizing that something fundamental has shifted, even if you can't quite put your finger on what it is. And there you have it. What you've just absorbed isn't common information you'll find anywhere else. This is the result of years of research into the hidden mechanisms of manifestation and deep understanding of how your subconscious mind really works during those hours of maximum receptivity. Every technique you've learned has been tested and validated by people who have completely transformed their financial circumstances by applying exactly these principles. If you've made it this far, if you've stayed with me throughout this entire journey through the secrets of the forbidden manuscript, then you know this wasn't coincidence. This message was exactly what you needed to hear at this moment in your life. And if you feel that internal resonance, that sensation that something has awakened within you, I invite you to subscribe to the channel, because this is just the beginning of a much deeper path toward your total financial freedom. Let me know in the comments that you made it to the end by writing simply, "This message was for me," because I want to acknowledge your commitment and your willingness to truly transform your life. And if this content has touched something deep within you, if you feel your perspective on abundance has begun to change, give me a like so I know that this connection we've created during these minutes has been real and meaningful. There's a video right here that perfectly complements everything we've just explored, where we reveal even more advanced techniques for accelerating your financial manifestation. Click and continue with me over there, because your transformation has only just begun.